And welcome back, everybody, to Scales of Fate.
We're here. We're live.
We're here. We're live.
Yeah.
Today we have a guest at the table. Everyone welcome Joshua Dooley.
That's me.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun. Taylor is a little busy with work. But with that, we're going to talk about our people. Listen, D20 Tavern, I just did a hired session. It was awesome. If you want to hire me up there, go to D20 Tavern and send them an email. Also, thank you to Hop and Sting for being the best of all the DF dubs. Thank you so much, SL Dooley, for your lovely literature. You can actually get all 3 of her books now in one big bundle. One big bundle. I know you got one for like that Christmas thing. Yeah, it was her book signing.
Yeah. I picked up a couple bundles of them and been kind of just giving them away.
The Portal Slayer trilogy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a planned trilogy? Is there going to be a 4th?
Who knows?
I think it's a trilogy,
Okay.
pretty set in stone. But
She's already working on her next book.
this March, keep an eye out for the next installment in similar fashion. All sci-fi fantasy, more fantasy heavy than sci-fi. This one that we're really excited for, the Summertime Circus.
Mm-hmm.
Summertime what now?
Summertime
Circus.
Neat. Well, let's not forget. Thank you, Michael Ghelfi, for your awesome, great music. I found out through my Spotify Unwrapped last year. It was like, yeah, I think I told you guys already, but it was crazy.
Hundreds of hours. You were in like 0.01 top percent of listeners.
He's gonna be a guest player on here one day.
Let's email him and be like, bruh.
Come on.
Please don't be an asshole.
Well, with all that being said, let's get into a recap. Last episode was a little bit of a doozy. So Stack, Fauner, and Leon were all taken away, whisked to Limrith's lair, the residing blue dragon that controls the Shimmering Fang deep within the ravines of Shades Valley. Once there, Fauner successfully diverted the attention of the dragon from taking note of Stack's waffle butter secret.
God damn it. That sounds fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But to Stack and Fauner, it appeared that Leon, for some mysterious reason, was doing the bidding of Limrith, immediately coming to the lair. In the meantime, we had some sailors, some sand sailors, if it were,
Yes.
go on a dangerous mission throughout the desert, being chased through the entire expanse of Shades Valley by a sandstorm and a pod of sand scorpions.
There's also like a bunch of crabs that came out at one time.
Yes, and a bunch of crabs.
I have a hard time keeping reality straight.
Roscoe, that's very canon for Roscoe, actually, right now.
I pictured them as more like spiders than crabs. I don't know, something about your description of them was very like...
they're very closely...
They're similar, but I pictured spiders.
They're sprats.
Crabs are just the spiders of the sea.
Yeah.
Spiders of the... That's very true.
And then lobsters are just the scorpions of the sea.
Yeah.
Or really, scorpions are the lobsters of the land.
Well, listen.
Sand lobsters.
Listen, this is...
That's a lot less scary.
They don't taste nice.
You don't know that.
They got legs and features.
I mean, I haven't tried scorpion.
One that as big as a lobster, at least.
Yeah. Well,
If you've
Yes,
ever had
Roscoe-
scorpion, let us know in the
Please-
comments.
tell us in the comments.
If you've had giant scorpion, we don't care about the little like scorpion lollipops.
I would like
Yeah.
an express, detailed description of consuming this so I can put it into gameplay. But yes, Roscoe does have a hard time keeping reality separate from what's going on in his head. And
Don't we all?
at the end of this long chase, Salvo, with some help, put together the sand cell to become submergible. terraforming underneath the earth and the dirt of the desert.
The subterranean.
Vehicle.
And then finally flashing back to Limerith's lair, the Hexers, whom had been put on the possibility of riches by our crew here,
The rest of you know them as the Crinkles.
Crinkles.
Crinklebird.
Crinkleberg. They had essentially attacked Limerith's lair. It seemed like they were more tactful in their plan, but the execution turned sour as Leon unfortunately went out to help aid Limerith in defending her lair.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
El Capitan. And from there, Stack and Thalner were taken down into a cell deep within the lair inside of the Shimmering Fang. And inside that cell, a stray sea turtle appeared. Inside of their cell, moving through some waters and the broken, ruinous types of the
I
ground.
distinctly remember you saying it was once a latrine.
I said it might have been.
That the sea
Someone
turtle
blew it
emerged
out.
from?
This is several hundred-year-old ruin.
Okay.
Next to what you thought.
Maybe.
And had
Don't be
used
so high-minded.
as-
We totally were the first ones to go through a latrine.
That's true. No, but
And the
you know,
sewers.
there's something there of like I trust you a little more.
Trauma bonding.
Toilet buddy.
But the term is shit brother.
It's been a
Okay.
minute yet. Keep going.
I'm pretty sure.
In which, after Thalner speaking to said turtle, had found out that this actually was shape-shifted into his normal form, a furbolg. One that they had seen in the Forest Nell earlier after the demise of Ixcar. But where we will begin today is the sand sail.
Yeah.
You guys are in some dirt now. Hold on, I gotta find appropriate music.
That sand is
Oh, so it's pretty flute and bells.
No, this is more like combat sounding. You guys have dug deep into the ground of Shades Valley onto this sand sail. You had devised a method of steering it, but have you devised a method of navigating perfectly?
I got a compass.
Roscoe.
And a string that tells me where up is.
Okay.
That's actually pretty smart. But the storm is over. We can just go up to the top.
If it's over, sure.
Periscope.
We just have one. We just have
It's
one.
just me climbing on the crow's nest and sticking my head out.
Accurate.
That way.
We tie you to a string and you're like on a floaty at the top and you're like...
No, get like a piece of scrap and a string down under the sand and stand on the scrap and surf.
He has his
Like-
sand surfboard shield
I think I
thing.
might have already done that.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
did
I
in
mean,
my
like
dream.
that's how you steer the like direct. You're like a rudder.
So what are you doing?
Has the storm
We
subsided?
need to, yeah.
He's gonna
I'm
use
gonna climb up and try and stick my head from the,
using his little sand repulsion shield.
like, push through and see if I can poke up.
Okay. So right now, who is it? Salvo that's steering?
I guess.
Okay. Give me a survival check as you're steering this, and then depending on this roll, Roscoe.
Nope.
Ooh,
Critical fail.
nat 1.
I
Yep.
would have tied myself off. Just throwing that out there.
Wait, you got a nat one?
I did.
Hold on.
You did.
So Salvo,
That
you
would've
want to
been
guess the number highs, lows, or middle?
I want to guess low.
29. Perfectly low. Okay. So, you don't see it, but in the sand, there's just essentially shapes of mountains that are buried. And the ship moving through is sailing past a rock. And Roscoe starts freaking out and says, I'm going to get up and try to see where we're going. Hops up on the ladder, moving up to the top of the hull. And you're like, logically, I need to go up, if that's the case, because we just went down. You move the ship just barely in time to not completely collide into the rock.
Oh, cool.
But it will take some bludgeoning damage.
Ow.
It had already done so earlier, which I have written down right here. And you guys don't know its total health. It only takes 5 points of bludgeoning damage.
As I
not so
bonk
bad.
the mountain.
And now you're sailing farther up. In this circumstance, Roscoe, give me, I think, also a survival check here. There's some high tension adrenaline stuff going on.
Is it for climbing?
It's for, basically, you're going to be poking your head out of the sand with this earth repulsion shield. So can you physically respond to that as you do it?
14.
14 is pretty good. Okay, so you climb up this ladder, pull out the shield from your back, open up the hatch and move it forward, and there's just like a stopping of like sand right above your head, and it starts to push up, and you feel the ship moving up slightly from salvo beneath you. And as you poke your head up, you are slightly above the sand, and the shield is basically causing like this mist of fine rock and debris to spray kind of into your face, and it's hard to see. But you look up, and essentially the storm, as you see it from your passive perception, is to the east of you. And you essentially are looking out because nightfall is coming within a few hours. The two suns are falling towards the western ridge. And the Shimmering Fang, as you might have heard about it, just due east. Like, you're going to have to basically chase the storm.
Sick.
Do I think we can get there by nightfall?
Tell you what, give me a con save. Like, this is a concentration check, because you're going through like really rough, rocky, sandy areas right now.
1. 20.
No way!
Oh, halflings.
Oh, okay. So you take off a spool of rope from your hip, and you like lean down and make a quick couple lashings, and then essentially let go of the ladder, and the dirt pulls you back, and you're just holding this repulsion shield, and then you pick up on it, and you are surfing on it on the top. And you are essentially, you take out like your pirate spyglass and like open it up and like see the trajectory of the storm.
So epic.
Give me a perception check. Don't forget, with that nat 20, you also got inspiration.
I remember inspiration.
17%.
17? Okay.
I haven't in a long time.
Essentially, you know that you can ride to avoid most of the storm heading towards this Shimmering Fang. You see like some glinting, sharp things, and you're like, yeah, that makes sense.
Fang, Shimmering, got it.
Yep. You know that you don't have to keep going into the storm, but barely with a 17, you see that following the storm is just an expanse of desertous area, and not too far on your left side, like towards the west, it's starting to turn like into an actual ravine with where parts of the Shimmering Fang begin.
And the storm's moving away from the Fang?
Yes.
Okay. Alright, well then I'm gonna slide back down, nudge my lady friend out of the captain's, and take this back up and try and race rally style through the desert.
Okay. You're gonna take it back up on top.
I think
Okay.
it'll go faster.
The salvo allowing this.
Absolutely. I build, I don't steer, please.
Okay. Now give me one more survival check.
Do I get an advantage for being proficient with boats?
You're proficient.
Or whatever my
Add your proficiency
boating,
to something.
my boating
maybe?
thing that I've gotten something for that before. Being the captain.
Yeah, so what I would imagine is it's probably either wisdom or dex.
Survival, maybe.
Yeah,
Or-
survival makes sense to me.
And if he's not proficient, He could add his proficiency. Or nature? I don't know.
Ship's passage.
You get free sand.
Oh, is that the background feature?
Yeah.
I see.
Faith drink.
I think with that one is like
Those
essentially are you proficient in survival?
No.
Okay, so roll a survival check and add your proficiency.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Something.
14. Yes, it is a 14.
Okay, 14. You pull the ship up, and you start to notice that, like, so first of all, like the masts have broken off. There are no more masts on this.
I guess we don't need it.
Well, you come to find that, like, basically what Salvo had done is like make it kind of hover off the ground like a sand glider, but it is starting to slow down. This is the only momentum that it has, not being submerged in the earth. And long story short, you glide like this for 10-15 minutes, and you essentially have slowed down to almost walking speed.
Can we take some of the extra propulsion shields that we had on top, put them on the back, and use them like a way to push us forward? They would pulse the sand backwards, but that launch us forward.
Y'all had enough supply to be basically in the front, like to where it could go forward, and in the back where the rudder functions.
We had some on the top to go under the sand.
You could also, since we're now a subterranean and we're not using sails, pitch it to where the nose is submerged and the rear is up.
Probably gonna make us go faster.
Because then all of the propulsion is submerged, whereas most of the ship is out.
Hey, if she thinks it'll work.
So you guys are sailing along, and Salvo's just like talking about this, and Roscoe goes like,
You're the engineer, I'm the driver.
I see. What you want to do is pitch the aft portion upwards to just lower the bow all the way.
I look over, there's this really big like handbrake style thing, like
Sure,
race car
yeah.
style.
yes, there's an e-brake on this
E-brake on it.
on this sand sail.
Basically, like riding an Indo.
Yeah. Okay.
So that
All right, yeah,
that
give me
all of the front propulsion is submerged, but then the back half of the ship essentially would be above sand.
Okay. I'm gonna say that this is like
Like a reverse wake,
yeah.
or reverse, like how a boat would be, but backwards.
This is like an acrobatics check. I feel like.
Got it.
Do the sails no longer work?
They're broken off.
We didn't put
Yes.
repulsors on the masts, so I think when we went underground, they got rid.
Can I help with something?
Let's see.
I'm describing how to do this.
Yeah, I'd say so. The acrobatics is the physical act of it.
Can I
Yeah,
help?
yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Can I help with like a
Salvo
history
can
or
tell me,
something?
like,
I don't know.
how much angle to do.
Yeah, she's like guiding you, and it's a
So
survival
here's the math.
check.
Make that happen.
Okay. Yeah. Advantage. You got it.
Nat 20,
What?
What?
Roll it again.
Nat 1. That's all I've
wait,
rolled
roll
so far
it.
today.
Wait, hold on.
What is happening?
2.
Okay. Just
Wow.
all right. But anyways,
Alright.
Nat 20 still stands. That's fine. I was curious.
I did a 1 and
That was
20 and a 20
an
and a 1.
emotional roller coaster.
So the two of you with that Nat 20, tell me how this goes.
I describe it exactly, and you do it exactly. You fucking start hauling ass. There's a lot less drag on the boat now.
The back part of the boat's drifting back and
Yeah.
forth, all badass. Like,
Yeah, we're like hold
drifting
it
around
on
all
the
the spires.
I imagine there's like an elevated portion where you steer from, and like we're just like up kind of high, tilted slightly forward, and then the front of that ship's just plowing.
Like Roscoe's standing on the big
Yes.
ship steering wheel, like just kind of
Yes.
tilting because it's.
Yes.
I mean, it's all
Steering with
angled
his
weird.
feet.
Yes, correct.
I need 2 hands for
you
drinking.
have to.
And I'm maintaining the angle with like the little lever, but you're basically
It's a
still
massive
taking the
lever,
wheel.
but yes.
Well, it's a little lever to me.
Adequately sized.
With that and the Nat 20, I'm going to say this. We're going to reduce like the entirety of the rest of this travel to 1 percentile roll. Like,
Love it.
y'all are booking it across this desert. Like, y'all could potentially skip any encounter that might happen. Like, the only this is the percentile roll. So, if you guess the number correctly,
Oh, you're gonna roll. I'm gonna guess.
Yes, if you guess the number, not the number exactly, but like the highs, lows, middles. If you guess it correctly, you guys make it across the rest of this desert like with no encounter. But you still have to figure out if you're going towards the ravine side, like starting to go down into the ravine, or if you're going to go further out towards the edges. And if it's a fail, then we're going to re-roll that and do it again. Maybe. Let's see how the first one goes.
We're high, so high.
Nice. Okay. So that is a 57, which is not highs.
Maybe it just hasn't kicked in yet. Give it a minute.
So we're going to do it one more time. Because basically, I'll tell you what happens after this next one. What do you guys got?
We're even higher now. It's
Yeah.
been a minute.
So high.
99.
Oh,
That's as high as it gets almost.
Yeah, like one more number, it could have been not that, but all right, so that's pretty good. I think, all right, so this is what I think happens. You guys more or less very expertly like ride the sand cell, all janky, but scientifically working through the desert at top speed. And there's even times where you see like large roaming, like hulking muscular beasts with large multiple horns like passing through, and they see you guys and like get freaked out. You're just driving through the desert. Below in the main deck, like you hear Thea like making some very nauseous sounds.
I'd like to call it a sand wake. Since the sails no longer exist.
Fitting. So
Man, I think we got a stowaway. There's someone throwing up downstairs. Who is that?
Yeah.
No. So,
Remember that lady we met that one time in the alley? There was also throw up in that alley too.
no,
I
that
was thrown up in the alley by her.
A
Doesn't
different person
ring a
threw up, I
bell.
think.
Oh,
Didn't?
that was her.
Oh, did she throw up?
That
She
was
throws up a
definitely
lot.
Yeah, it's a very signature sound.
We think she's a friend.
Alright.
Her grandfather's the guy we're looking for.
The dragon?
Friend.
That's
Friend.
good.
We'll go with
We'll
friend.
get there, but
so
Dragon?
Edarin Two-Tone also comes out from inside the hole, and he's just like, all right, I don't know what's happening here.
Tilted off the thing.
What happened to the ship? But looks like we're almost there.
We're really booking it now.
We're gonna, what? And he like it's just exasperated for the rest of the way. You guys come to a grinding halt because this is a very important decision I want you guys to make. The ravine begins, and Salvo, from like the bump in under the sand, you know that this thing can't go through rocks.
Right.
So your choices are to start heading down like one of the sides into the ravine that you can get into, but it would probably be on foot, or ride the sand cell as far as you can up to the ledges, and it's like this large, like almost 2,000 feet, like wide in diameter. Not diameter. Yes, diameter. Like ruined city covered in like these sharp pearlescent crystal shards. So you could get up to the ravine edge there, or you can go down to the ravine.
Well, team, clandestine and slow, or fast and reckless?
Man, I don't know if walking through the front entrance is actually clandestine. I think going up
Ravine's not the front entrance.
seems like more of a front than like climbing down a cliff.
That's the ravine.
they're both kind of.
No, I mean there's like a ravine. So there's like one that like goes down, and the other one seems like you go up to the edge, and then it's like a drop off.
Think of like an impact crater almost,
Yeah.
and then there's like multiple different ravines that kind of go down into it.
Like a crevasse.
Yes.
So we could
If it's not
hike
ravine,
down one or like scale down
Yeah.
the wall.
Thea comes out like,
I,
whatever you decide to do, isn't it getting close to night? And you look up, it's like 30 minutes till sunfall.
Yeah, the
Sun's fall.
Whichever one's faster.
I think probably going to the edge and scaling down is probably quicker.
The entrance basically.
How do you know that's the front entrance?
Well, it's like the open mouth part. Basically, either we're gonna go up a crack that like leads up to it, or we're gonna go up to the main hole that is the space.
If you were gonna put guards, would you put guards in the crack people can walk through, or on the big place where people will normally fall to their death?
I mean, he's confused, but he's got it. But he's right.
Show your work. Well, the math doesn't check out, but the answer's right. So. Yeah, no, I'm down with the fast approach because don't want to be out here at night.
Yeah. I guess we could just bury this whole ship again, but
We could go down.
Edorin just pipes up and he's like, actually, I was thinking about it. I thought I wanted to go in there again. Don't want to do that, so I could just stay with the ship.
oh yeah, stay on the ship.
Underground?
You could guard it from that giant, night monster.
No, I'll just put it in the ground like y'all had it,
Yeah, what should we call for when we need you to come back up?
Well, I don't know. Well, maybe I'll I'll do kind of what Roscoe did and put up like a piece of metal that you just bang on. It's attached to a string. When I hear banging, I know it's you.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got a dinner bell?
No, but I do have like this teeny tiny one that used to belong to the ship cat.
All right, I'll tie that on a string. We can pull the string. And go,
And there's a set. Here's the set code, and then we do a set
I
code.
just make it go crazy.
Which one is it, though? Right. Well,
We're all gonna die later because I'm gonna be the only one at the string.
good luck. And if I don't see you in about, there's enough rations on the ship and water for me to survive for a little while. But I'd give you about 24 hours. If you don't come back, I'm leaving.
I give him a flask of liquor.
25 hours. Thank you. Appreciate you.
We'll take it.
That's not real strong. He'll pass out and be here for 2 days.
Is that
All right.
that hallucination?
Well, I'm
thing?
hopping in now. We'll see y'all.
No, I want to give
He
that
like
away.
takes this bell, throws it on the ground, hops in the thing,
Yeah.
just goes under like a few feet until the bell gets taut, and
And the code ringing is Roscoe's favorite sea shanty.
Cute.
I don't know it, so I'm saying that's what it is.
It's
Out of game, I don't know it. In game, I do know it because he
the
sings it all the
code
time.
to-
I know it. I
Bell.
won't say it on stream. It's not
That's what I'm saying.
appropriate.
But that's the tune that you ring the bell
okay.
to. That way, it's something you'll remember, and you'll know because you've heard him sing it so many times in a drunken stupor.
Oh, of course, yeah.
You know that one,
The one.
the lewd one that should not be mentioned on air.
well, I guess we're taking the crazy way.
Yep.
Well, let's hit it. Shouldn't we contact our friends? Maybe first, just to make sure they're still here.
Can you do that?
I pick up a rock.
I can.
No, dumbass. They aren't responding.
I
Yeah,
can.
let me just send a pigeon.
I have that book.
I have a cantrip and I've been pointing, but so far nothing.
I can try the book.
Do it.
Oh, that neat fancy book you used before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I used
Do it as we're walk though.
Hmm?
Do it as we're walking.
Okay, I can write and walk.
Yeah.
Okay, what are you writing in the book? Who are you sending it to?
Who did I reach out to last time? Thalner?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Thalner's used to telekinetic or telepathic communication. I'm going to stick with that because Leon is notoriously the opposite of verbose.
Daft.
That too. But usually he's like, good. Thank you. Great information. So I'm going to send, how many words can I send? 25? Was it?
Yeah, that sounds good. Go with that.
25 words?
Yeah, it's 25.
Okay. I'm gonna send to Thalner. Close to Shimmering Fang. Thea, Roscoe, JJ, Salvo. That's the force, yeah.
Would it be JJ or JJ?
It's texting lingo. He'll spell it one word.
Yeah.
DJ. There's no space. So
The sending spell takes the periods from JJ and recognizes them as complete words.
There's a...
coming up on perimeter of crater. Please advise location and status. It's like not even 20.
Cool.
And well,
So,
it's fine.
oh yeah, your book does not
It does not.
have any problems.
It's all good.
Yes.
Wow.
So the interesting part from here is you guys continue walking, and Salvo sends this message. This is actually slightly ahead of time of when we're going to jump over to Thalner instead. So Thalner's not currently receiving this message. Hold on, wrong one. There we go. Thalner, right in front of you, you had just essentially questioned this furbolg man as to what are you? Who are you? Stack kind of pipes up. I don't like things that aren't what they are. What? Answer, Thalner. What are you?
I'm Firbolg. I can change my shape. I can do whatever I want. I've seen a sea turtle before, so I changed to a sea turtle. I needed to get into the latrine. Covered in shit now.
Will you go ahead and describe your character for us?
So, roughly 7 foot-ish. I'm definitely towering over the both of the two of you. Dusty, kind of reddish hair with a nice kept beard and mustache. Got a cloak that's kind of green, shimmery, pretty, obviously well kept as well. Pretty neat and tidy for a druid.
Minus the shit.
Not minus the, well, I was a turtle then. So when I changed...
That stayed on the turtle form.
It's magically clean.
Right, yeah, kind
Oh,
of
that's
like
so convenient.
I have some white armor, half plate, and a very large wooded staff, branching twigs and leaves growing off of it and stuff. You know, what you typically expect of a druid. Very strong, thick, almost obnoxious Scottish accent, which I will save for moments of
Actual roleplay.
Yeah, it is not going to be but just for the sake of understanding. You know,
Whatever you're comfortable with.
Kind of go in and out of it, but yeah,
Love it.
that's me.
Thalner, this makes absolutely no sense to me.
I mean, we've been in a toilet before, we get it.
I get that
It is
part.
actually a surprisingly good place to hide
Roscoe finds
and
it fun.
escape. I'm assuming you discovered there's no exit out that direction.
No, I've been traveling all through these cells. I couldn't find a way out, just between the different cells.
I'm also assuming, being in a cell, you were not with Limerith and her forces.
No, we've met before, right?
Yeah, I vaguely recognize you.
I'd say, yeah, you guys both are starting, like, as you're
Yeah,
thinking
like,
that you're
feel
starting
like
to recognize, yeah.
You're
Where was it? You were with the guy with the horse. With his
Crinkles! You're
Crinkle.
the
Like-
people that hired you for the race!
Hexers.
Okay, what? You're doing the race for the Crinkles, right?
Yeah. And I guess you guys are the scales guys.
You blew up our wagon wheel.
That was a good time. I remember that.
Well, it wasn't
I
you
wasn't
specifically.
exactly on board with the whole idea, but it was quite a bang.
I remember it differently. How did you end up in here?
You basically, due to the plan that you had,
Right.
you had found out that you can get into this place through the watery aqueducts within the deep inside of the Shimmering Fang. But yeah, it was labyrinthian,
Right.
and coming out where you did was like you had just seen air for the first time in a while.
Right. I just actually got captured as well. I was in a cell just across the way, so I just travelled through some of the water and ended up over here.
Odd coincidence in the same cell. Well, looks like we're in a similar predicament for now.
As long as I get coin, I'm not exactly particular about who I'm matching up with. If you're headed the same direction, I suppose we could set aside our...
Well, I'm not going to pay
Misgivings.
you.
But we're both headed towards the dragon
Okay,
horde.
you said coin. I assumed that meant yeah.
You don't look
Similar
like I have very much
goals.
coin.
Well,
What's your passive perception?
He's like, Crinkles, who are they? He's wearing like full Crinkles race uniform. It's like bright blue and white stripes with crinkles on the back.
08 crinkles.
Prospect. Crinkles prospect.
It's like, what, you guys don't have any sponsors?
14. Okay. So the only thing that's really weird to you is that there seems to be some bulky thing being carried by this kobold's tail behind him. That's the only thing that you find is strange. And being a seasoned adventurer, like, you can tell that he's hiding it from you.
Especially because he keeps fidgeting with it and like moving it, like trying to like the coat just keeps moving. Like,
What you got there?
Definitely not drugs.
Is
I
that
was
the reason you're
thinking
in
too.
a sale? Should I be worried?
Not particularly. We're actually apparently of interest to Limerith for a misunderstanding, really. But it's something I'd rather not be discovered, so if you're interested in leaving, so am I. So let's do that now.
Alright. Easy enough for me.
Stack just kind of like waddles over, just like awkwardly stands next to Thalner. He's like, I'll take my not drugs back now.
Yeah, okay. And like trying to be
This rock
discreet.
guy
Like,
seems to be giving away a bit of what that might be.
It's not drugs.
it's
So you keep saying.
it's a long process of elimination, so I wouldn't bother.
Yeah, well, as long as I get the same not poking into my businesses I'm going to offer to you, then far be it from
Oh,
me
yeah, I
to
don't-
pry into your business.
That's really friendly.
I tend to get along with a lot of people. That's why I was able to get into the Hexer so easy.
Don't you mean the crinkles?
My boy.
I'm going to have to pick up on this lingo that you guys keep using. The crinkles. I kind of like it.
You would.
It's the name of a family, I think, in Drakehaven that we never actually met and have no interest in whatsoever, except for a friend of ours. So
I think Roscoe messed up their stuff.
yeah, pretty much. Sums it up.
Roscoe, he's a halfling.
Yes.
I've heard about that.
Okay.
I'm famous. I got a rep. People know about me.
Thalner tries to discreetly deposit the orb back inside of Stack for now, just
Okay.
because he wouldn't know where to store it properly.
Give me a sleight of hand
I'm
check.
gonna provide her the space to kind of do that.
So, yeah,
I'm
you-
gonna turn and allow them to.
You see him turn around and just kind of give you guys privacy. You don't need to roll. You don't need to roll.
All right.
Just slip something back into Roscoe.
Yeah, just put that back.
And basically right after Stack goes, what's your name? You're very tall.
My name is Trenton Wolfsbane.
Trenton Wolfsbane.
You can just call me Trent.
Trent,
Trent works. That's what everybody calls me.
that is pretty cool. I am ST4K.
ST4, that's a bit of a mouthful. Do you have a nickname as well?
we call him Stack.
That's cute. That's quite cute.
You're not so bad. Maybe you can call me Stack. I think.
It's a friendly thing. I will keep to ST4K until.
It's easier to remember than ST4K. At least getting to know him.
But if you do bad crinkle stuff, you can't call me that.
Right. I can jive.
How do we get out of here?
That's actually a good point. The water doesn't go anywhere.
That's fair. I'm Thalner, by the way.
Good. Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Yes, the good.
I'm not the socialite of our group.
Well, and now's not really a social time, so on to the task at hand. How do we
let's
get
move
out of
along.
here?
Let's move it along.
I noticed
Save
you trying to
introductions.
get through that door. I guess of any of us, you're probably gonna have the best luck bashing your way through it. But I've not really had the chance to explore this room particularly well.
I could hack the rock guy at the door. He seems pretty heavy.
He's durable.
I can punch the door like it was a spine.
Gotta punch like you wouldn't believe.
Could you punch the door down?
Yeah,
Whatever you do.
yeah, punch it, Stack. See what
I'll try to
happens.
punch the door.
Let's just see what happens.
Hiya!
Can I check and see if there are guards or anything first, actually?
Go ahead and roll. Yeah, it is too late, but go ahead and roll.
So I think about it as you're going to punch. I'm like, ow. 20.
Nat 20?
20. It's a perception roll, so like, okay. Cool.
You get inspiration out of it.
Oh, wow, we just...
It's in there.
Yeah. Any natural 20s.
Actually, less than before.
Grant you inspiration.
Oh, wait. I just clicked the... initiative. That's not inspiration.
With a nat 20, you first see that like most of the track marks within the outside terrain, just intuitively whole picture, 90% of the foot traffic through here has been those gem stalkers. You've seen them before, you've seen their movement patterns and like how their claws and hands are shaped proportionate to their body. Like this has been 90% gem stalkers in and out of here. In this specific cell, this is where they keep general humanoids that you ascertain through like the refuse and some like the food scraps and like there's actually a pile of like lightly clothed over like decaying bones. You notice that this is kind of like more of where the humanoid cell that they would keep people. You don't see any guards, don't hear any guards, don't smell any guards.
That's better.
What you do smell is several different types of very unique mushrooms that are growing with the type of sediment nearby. And you also see like huddled in a corner, emaciated, like almost completely enveloped in shadows, very weak, like a hand with a shining ring on it. It's a little too far away but for you to actually see what it is, but he's in a different cell far off in the back corner of this same like cell block that you're in.
I thought he smelled that. I was like, yo.
No, you didn't smell that.
Single hand in the distance.
Yeah, so I smelled weird mushrooms and I can see this hand. Is it a mushroom hand?
No, so you see, like, the smell context is its own layer.
Okay.
This other person moving back into, like, visuals, like, very far off in the back corner, you only catch it because somehow there's a very minor glint of light that reflects off of this ring on this hand.
Okay.
And you see a person that may or may not be alive, but just completely emaciated.
Okay, so I'm going to keep an eye on this hand while Stack bashes on the door, see if there's any reaction or anything.
Okay.
If he's spooked by it or whatever.
You're like, hey, hold on a second. You look around, you get all of that information, and then he punches the door. You roll a 16 plus numbers. Okay. He completely smashes the lock, and his fist just kind of grumbles for a second, and then you hear, and it just pushes through the rest of the door. There's like wedged from the door, kind of springing outwards. There's like a 1.5 foot gap on the bottom, but the rest of it is just kind of like bent and warped. And he's like, I'll try it again. He did not roll enough to hit the AC, so he just kind of hits the same spot and it bends a little bit more the same direction.
Let's see if we can work with that. That's an excellent start.
You know this guy. I'm surprised you didn't think to try that first.
We just got here.
We were only here for a little while.
And then you slithered up out of the water.
Hey, turtles don't slither. Alright, we swim.
You look like you shuffled, too.
I can shuffle. If you need me to shovel, I can shovel.
Focus.
Right.
Mean shuffle.
Every day I'm shuffling.
How do you do that every day? You must be the master of it.
Alright, back to the lock. It's smashed.
And you said the bottom of the door is bent?
Yeah, like bent outwards. There's like a 1.5 foot gap, like in a triangle shape at the bottom. You
could
definitely
fit through it?
could squeeze through
Yeah.
it. Stack probably not so. And definitely not Trenton.
Okay, so then I'm doing this, I'm like,
Yeah, let me see if I can unlock it from the other side. So I'm gonna kind of shimmy my way through that crack. And as soon as getting out on the other side, I'm gonna assess the area and make sure that, I'm not turning my back to something that's gonna attack me.
Okay, passive perception, what is it?
yeah, he's smashed. the lock? Did the hand react in any way?
You're actually looking over, thinking about that? No.
Okay.
But after, like, you train your eyes on it for a little bit.
Right.
Looks like very, very almost imperceptible, like shoulder heaving, like breathing.
Okay, so he's alive.
You said perception? 14.
14? Okay. You don't see the aforementioned guy, like, way back in a dark corner. But you can tell that, like, after all that loud noise, like, nobody's coming. There aren't any shouts, there aren't any, like, clattering of those claws that you can tell of.
Perfect.
Quiet and still.
Okay, that's what I was checking for. Okay, the door itself on the outside, any latches, locks, or anything that can be moved to, or like a bar that can be moved to let it...
Looking at it on the outside, it looked like just kind of like a standard rudimentary, like, tumbling lock, but the way that it was punched made it to where it's not going to be able to, like... You'd have to get some sort of, like, metal shearing or, like, magic to, like, basically break that off. He kind of ruined the door.
And what, now it's harder to open?
It wouldn't open normally, is what I'm saying. But if you're looking at it and after seeing, like, Stack make that punch, it's possible that with combined efforts you might be able to bend the bars a little bit more for the rest of everybody else to crawl out.
Even me?
Yeah. With or without wild shaping, because like you could army crawl essentially.
Could I heat metal?
Yeah, if you want to use it.
I have heat metal.
So you can use it on the doors?
Just give me one moment. I might be able to make this a bit more playable.
It looks like it's just the lock that's holding everything in place right now, and it's kind of boogered up.
Alright, well, let me see if I can melt it just a little bit, or at least make it to where it's easier to break. I'm going to cast heat metal on the lock.
Okay. Just focusing all of that energy, it first begins like a faint, like dull brown, and then a dark red, and the red gets brighter and brighter and brighter, and soon it's going into like the yellows and the oranges and the yellows and the white hot heat. You're just focusing all that energy on it, and eventually just kind of like melts.
Am I seeing this from the outside?
Stack, punch it now!
Alright, give it
And
a
I
hit.
stand way back.
He punches it. How far back do you stand?
like
Enough.
diagonal. So
Enough.
I'm not like directly in front of it. Like I'm way out of the way in case it just goes flying open.
Okay, because it does. And you definitely, like, getting as far out of the way as you can, like, you dodge it. It just, you hear, like, this sickening pop sound, and, like, there's even a splatter on stone and a hissing. Door pops open. You guys can both obviously get through now. Where you had ran off to, you're now... You turn the corner of your eye and you see that same man, and you can kind of hear like a low, like, moan. And with that big punching clatter, you're starting to pick up, like, I'm still rolling off of the same, like, hyper perception that you had rolled before. You're starting to pick up, like, some motion above you guys. You can hear, like, tingling of, like, metals and gems falling.
I think that may have blown our cover a little bit. Let's check on the guy over here.
After hearing the breathing, like immediately, like spun around, dagger out. Like, what are you? What is that?
For the most part, you just see like hands and arms, like with elongated fingers. Has one bright and shiny ring like on his ring finger, and his arms just kind of like folded into his knees, slumped into a corner. It's like a little bit of a traveling hood, all tattered and worn. And all you just hear is just like...
He doesn't look so good. Maybe take that ring. You're not gonna need it.
Alright. I mean, he's
You should ask
basically
him for
dead
it
at this
first.
point.
I'm sorry, I talked over you.
He's basically dead at this point, and robbing a corpse is off the table for me.
Yeah, you should ask him.
Sir, are you going to be using that ring anymore?
You basically kind of holler that. You're starting to hear more and more commotion from upstairs. And you see him look up. And it's a very old, wispy, like gaunt, high elf man. And you don't recognize him. But based on conversations with Thea, you're pretty sure this is why you're off.
I mean, old high elf in the Shimmering Fang. Immediately Thalner's brain is going to, could this be
He looks up and you think he is, and he just kind of... who are you?
Can you run?
Ooh.
Look at him. I'm not gonna run.
Pick him up.
I just want the ring.
How much gold
He's
do I
locked
have?
in his own cell.
Oh, he's locked in a cell.
He's locked in his own cell, separate
Also,
from you guys.
there's a commotion going on, so we need to make this decision quickly.
And as he points that out, you hear clattering of coins falling off of ledges. You immediately remember that to be like the spiral staircase to get down here.
He's covered in
Mhm.
treasure. Shit.
I'm gonna snag the ring.
He's in a cell. You'd have to
I
get
thought his
in
hand
there.
was.
No, he's like huddling in a corner, like emaciated, like
Cellmates. Not or
So this door, now that it hasn't been like bent or broken
I'm looking at-
and is completely normal, what does it look like?
looks like some very simple like tumbler like lock. Like the actual architecture of this room is, though in ruins, potentially more elegant when it was whole than the addition of this cell door that was added. It's metal, but it's kind of rickshaw and not shaped very uniformly. And the lock itself, it seems just like a key lock, but just very haggard.
Okay, I'm going to place my bead of force on that lock and let it go.
Roll for shrapnel.
shrapnel.
Yeah,
Duck!
I need the two of you and Stack to roll dexterity saving throws. Stack fails.
This kid probably won't hurt him.
20, dirty 20.
And what are we adding? You said dex. I guess.
Dex
obviously.
saving throw, yeah. Dirty 20.
I almost feel like low shrapnel would bounce off Stack.
He's fine.
There we go.
It's the force damage of the bead.
Oh, I have
With
crap
the-
dex. Okay, so yeah, it's a 6.
6. Okay. So you take 10 points of piercing damage. Stack takes 10 points of piercing damage, and you take 5 points of piercing
What are you
damage.
doing? Watch where you aim that thing.
I'm also gonna roll for Wygroff.
Oh god.
I need this old man.
He's
Please
got
don't.
at disadvantage.
Please don't die.
He fails the save. I rolled almost max damage. He takes 22 points of piercing damage. You just see him kind of like choke a little bit and start to bleed, and then a pair of Gemstalker arms approach these like the stairwell at the beginning, and Fauner, that's when you hear that message from Salvo.
So how's it going, guys?
Hey guys, just checking in. I wanted to touch base real quick.
How you doing?
Things
Pulling
are
up.
great down here. How are you?
I'm totally fine after the breakup. Just chilling.
With that, we're gonna go on break.
Ah,
Wait, really?
Yeah, gonna take an early break so we can re-listen to the message, because you're basically going to need to either respond to
this
this
is
in
gonna be
combat.
rapid fire.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right.
yeah.
You do both at the same time. You're like yelling instructions that also apply to.
Yeah, I'm saying the message back to Salvo and also the people in the room.
Right. Well,
We'll see.
and do I have any idea he's able to converse with Salvo? Probably not.
No.
Yeah.
You're just
I'm just yelling. I'm talking to you.
After you blew up both of us, and all I wanted was this ring.
Love it.
Can I have that ring?
Oh my! I know.
Low key, he's making death
And
saves
then I'm
right
like, we're in the cells, and you're
Yeah.
like, I know.
now. Stack's like, what is happening?
Well, and Clint made a good point. I could have wild shaped into like a roach or something and just underneath the bars or something.
Very true. Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
How many beads of force do you have left?
That was it.
All right, that's your last one.
There were 4 total, and we had split them up between each other.
Yeah.
So I only ever had the one, but I've held on. It's like I'm a hoarder of objects that might be of use, and I'm like, you know what? I need to use them. We'll talk about this at break.
It's because you're cool.
So,
Maybe.
we're going to go on break.
Oh.
We're going to be back in like 15
Business.
minutes. We're going to review
all
the
soon.
last
Racism.
message so that Thalner like has it fresh on his mind. And then we're going to come back to a very tense situation, probably, maybe.
Hopefully.
Not for me.
We'll
will
see.
see.
Just going for a little hike,
Yeah,
a little
be
rock
back soon.
climbing, Sambo party.
Bye.
Whee! Hello, and welcome back to Scales of Age. So, where we last left off, Thalner, Trenton, and Stack with a mysterious robed figure in the corner of the cell block they were in, were more or less trying to get the man free and exploded the lock with a bead of force, causing a lot of shrapnel, and the man is bleeding very much now. And also, a gem stalker approaches in the stairwell.
So, hearing the gem stalker, I'm going to use my staff and cast Pass Without Trace.
Who are you hitting? Everybody?
I'm going to touch me, and that's going to emanate 30 feet around me.
Okay, so everybody's in it?
Yeah.
All right.
We get plus.
We shall pass.
So, give me a dexterity saving throw to see if you can beat, just casting spell before he sees you, or if he sees you after.
Okay. 11. What am I adding to this?
Your dexterity save.
11.
11.
It's still 0, so 11.
11. Okay.
You do have inspiration.
So the creature.
Oh, I do have inspiration. What is that?
You do have inspiration.
Does he have to pick that before he hears?
Yes.
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 He can know the results, not the outcome.
So the result
Oh.
is 11, but the outcome we don't know.
But can you know
what
the
it
result
means.
of the gem stalker?
Right, yeah. So I haven't heard this yet, so I can use it, right?
So you can use it on yourself or on my roll.
Uh-huh.
What I will say is that currently with my roll, he saw you before you cast the spell.
Okay.
So if you want to use inspiration on yourself or on me, you may.
Yeah, I'll use it on your reaction. If it's a
Okay.
guarantee that he's seen me, then I'll use you. De-inspiration.
Okay. With second time is nat 2.
Okay. Okay.
So you
Yeah.
hit the pass without a trace before his eyes basically came into line of sight of the downstairs of the dungeon.
Okay.
And you guys are just swirling and forming mists of smoke and shadow. And he comes down and he looks around and he sees all this swirling mist and is confused and sees the lock and then looks into the cell, rips it open a little bit more, comes into it and is looking around, comes back out. I need you guys to give me stealth checks
We get plus 10 to stealth.
on top of what you already add to it,
Correct.
which stack is 0. So he got a 17.
Nice.
Oh, bro. So I have a plus 18.
19, so I get plus 10 to 21.
I'll roll for
It's a 5.
Graph is unconscious. He doesn't roll.
5 plus 18.
I think being partially dead is probably the best sneaking you can do.
So you got a 23. What did you get?
29.
29.
Yeah.
Stack out of 17. We're gonna
Alright.
do this. We're gonna have this guy do a perception roll.
Right.
3 on the dice. Skitters out, looks around, moves over towards the smoke, and is just kind of chittering a little bit, and then turns around and goes upstairs in a hurry.
Kind of in the process of this, while he was looking in that other cell, Thalner walked up to this old man that has clearly been hit by shrapnel and not doing great. Grabs him by the robes and says, "You're fine," casting Healing Word.
Okay, at that time he was at 1 pass and 2 fails, but with the healing word you bring him back up.
Can I roll for it, though?
Yeah. roll the hit points for sure. But I'm saying you bring him back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
9.
Okay. With a 9, he. And at this time, that creature had skittered away, and again, you had just heard that message and haven't responded yet. You do know how the spell works. You need to respond now. Yeah. So.
Maybe found Wygroff in cells of Shimmering Fang. Hexer ally. Maybe.
He says.
with stack, Leon, unknown. Need escape ASAP.
Salvo, you get that back in your head.
Yeah. I repeat it to them. Sounds like they could use some help.
He's with who?
Wygram, the person we're looking
A
for.
Hexer and Wygram.
Man, you mean a crinkle?
More importantly, my grandfather, right?
Yes.
Presumably. Presumably.
Hopefully, but that is promising news. Roscoe, fuck off.
Man, she even knows my name. That's creeping me out.
Honestly, I should have just said halfling, but that would have been a little bit anti. Anyways.
PC. Player character.
How PC of you.
As you guys are
PC.
moving over in the direction of having received that message, we still are going to focus here on the scene inside of the Shimmering Fang. Well, actually, let me say this before I get to that. As you guys are having this discussion, like, you wouldn't have just been like walking and standing through open sand, like you're hesitantly moving around because
Sure.
you hear a lot of creatures coming from the inside of this city-like ravine. In fact, you hear several sounds of like thunderous landing and then heavy whooshing through the air. And at one point you do see a twisting snake-like visage of a wingless dragon floating through the air. All of you give me a perception check.
$13.
16. Just a little bit.
22.
Okay. 13, you see a figure of a person on the back of this dragon, Roscoe, with a 16 shimmering green scale-like shoulders. Looks very familiar, and then he looks over and you basically lock eyes with him in the air, and you see Leon riding on this creature. And you see him like tap her side with his sword
Oh god.
and move it over. And with a 22, you can tell he's leading it away from you guys.
Nice.
And she flies off like northeast.
Man, was that dude riding a dragon? That was epic.
Yeah, that dude was Leon. And
That son of a bitch.
I'm not sure how to interpret what I just saw. We need to get the hell in there and then out of there, wherever we're going.
So I go to the edge of the cliff and look down.
You go to the edge of the cliff, and it takes you a while. You precariously have to move your way through a really rough terrain of spiky prismatic shards, and as you crawl up towards the edge, it is nothing but like flowering embedments of those same type of sharp shards all the way down. And as you look over to the edge, we're going to bounce back over to you guys.
Alright, that was really close. Who the hell are you talking to?
I think it's the reason I came here. I need you to carry him.
I just wanted the ring.
You can have it if you carry him.
Okay, so I help you to keep it out.
Yep.
That's an agreement. He's pretty light. He's not very, he hasn't been eating very well, so he's pretty light. Also, we probably want to make this quick, as I'm sure they're bound to notice that there are no more prisoners in the jail cells.
Yeah. I've got people coming in to help us get out, but we at least need to get out of this catacomb that we're in.
Alright, you have any idea which way we might go? I smell some mushrooms. We can perhaps follow that.
What?
I smelled some. I caught it on the air. I smelled some sort of earthy. It smells like mushrooms. Maybe it's some sort of kitchen or something.
Oh, like cooking mushrooms, not just like growing in caves.
That's all. Well, perhaps.
I don't think we're looking for caves.
Revolt.
What are you saying?
I shuffle him closer.
Like a vault.
He's just he just kind of very weakly is just saying the vault.
Is that why you were here?
The vault. Have to.
Where?
The vault.
Where?
They've lost him.
Okay. Close? Nearby?
You're asking him, and he's just nearly catatonic,
Okay.
unresponsive.
Let's at least... I don't know. The only thing I know is the stairwell that gem stalker just came
You're
down.
talking about going the way that the monster just came from.
Yeah. Were you scared of monsters?
Absolutely not. I get a little puffy on that.
I'm not scared of monsters either.
Plus, we're pretty quiet right now with the cloud of smoke.
If we go now, we're probably fine. Let's go.
I feel like a wispy thing.
Yep.
That is, that's coming from my staff.
I like your staff.
Whatever it is, I feel like we have a chance. Let's
Can I
keep
maybe
going.
perceive around the stairwell to see if I'm hearing any sort of commotion from them noticing it?
Okay. Yeah, you slowly walk up towards the stairwell. Approaching it with your passive perception, you said 14.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy, and then, kind of tuning in your senses, like looking around a corner. Go ahead and give me a perception check. Stack's just like, I'll carry Graf for you.
So I kind of shuffle them off as I climb up the stairs. And what do I add to perception?
If you're proficient in your perception skill, you would add a number with that.
Oh.
Yeah, you should have
There
a
it is,
perception
yeah.
skill.
Plus 4. Okay, so 15.
15? Okay. Kind of like poking your head around the corner and listening and looking, because looking around, it is just like this curved spiral staircase where, like, as the steps go up there, it's littered more and more with coins and gems and various trinkets. With a 15, you hear the same, like, kind of skittering, but it's not, like, directly above you as you would imagine with how the staircase is designed, and it's a little bit farther out.
Okay, so there's not anything at the immediate top of this staircase.
You're not hearing anything.
I think we could go up to the top and have ourselves a look-see.
Let's do it.
All right, we're gonna
Yeah,
travel
up the stairs.
And
Okay.
And you have
Stack
Old man.
has old man.
okay.
Wygron, question mark.
It's just kind of moaning on Stack's
man.
back.
Bring them.
You guys are going up the stairs. You need to give me stealth checks, but this is with disadvantage
Okay.
because of all the treasure that's kind of looted on the stairs.
I still have passive trace or passive that trace active. So.
You said stealth?
Disadvantage stealth, which, passive out of trace is active, so it's like...
Oof. 12.
12? Okay.
Yeah.
Roll the 2.
Stack still got a 17.
23.
Okay. So Thauner just kind of like leaps and bounds heading up, not even touching a single coin, kind of gets towards the top. Stack bringing up the rear is slowly and methodically like choosing his steps as he walks. With a 12, like something about like the circumstance makes you feel more confident, and you're walking and you're trying to be stealthy, but every once in a while you kick something. But in your mind, it's like, this whole cave sounds like this, or this whole area, whatever I'm about to walk in sounds like this. It might not be that suspicious. You make a little bit of noise coming up to the top. And go ahead. Still like wisping in shadows. Thauner, as you get up to the top, you see that like a lot of the gem stalkers some of them are like kind of conversing in like various different entryways within this large like domed building. And most of them, after like looking at each other and like exchanging physical body language, like move on. You hear a clattering of coins from behind you, and like a very tall figure in shadow like kind of knocks some coins over. One of the creatures like looks past in this area, and in that moment like you kind of like pull back a little bit, and shrink down, and like it's just a little bit of like shadowy smoke barely wafting off of this curved stair edge. And that creature like looks over, like takes a couple steps forward, and then you hear some shrieking, and it turns around and heads out. And all of the gem stalkers, from your perception, have left this immediate, like, large horde layer. To you guys, bouncing back over, on the ledge, looking down, making your assessments, after Limerith had flew off to the northeast, you see a bunch of gem stalkers, like, kind of swarming inside of all these courtyards, and they're all going through ravines. They're all spreading out through the ravines and leaving the middle of this area.
Man, thank God we didn't go in a ravine.
Yeah.
So what are you guys doing?
Exactly where the enemy's going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done.
What are you guys doing
Good
from
logic.
here? Team rescue.
Does there seem to be a way to scramble down? Like, what kind of angle of cliff are we talking? We're talking like...
The top of it, actually, because of how the shards basically form polyps and then grow larger, like, the angle at the beginning is mostly flat and then curves in a little bit, and then goes sharply back down at like a 35.
There seemed to be a way where we could scramble down without getting stabbed a million times.
With enough rope and enough patience, maybe.
Well, I've got rope.
But that's a basic plan.
Damn.
What, not trying for flavor purposes. You recognize that this would take you a long time. You're an experienced climber.
All right, so I'm gonna plan to surf down there on my repulsion shield. How do you guys want to get down? Maybe I could take a rope all the way down there and like attach it, and you could zip line.
That also sounds like a plan,
I got the block and tackle. If you can get down there, we could zip line.
So I want to try and get down there. You say time is an issue, but should I wait for these guys to like leave?
You're seeing, for the most part, you're seeing all of them, like hundreds of them, just kind of spreading out like ants and going into the areas where the ravines start. So rappelling down now, there are still ones that haven't gone into the ravine
I'm gonna
yet.
Wait until they all get into the ravine area.
You hold up the group and you're like, wait, not the time, Matt, not the time. And once the last couple like go into ravines, it's like a cleared out area, haunted and ruined. Now you think might be a good time to go.
All right,
Do you have
so-
the ability to fall safely?
Well, I mean, I can negate 30 points of damage.
Do you need a boost?
How much rope do we have? 'Cause maybe we should tie the rope off to me.
I mean, I have 50 feet.
I've got
I've
35
got at least
feet.
50.
I have how much
Probably, I
much
don't
you
know.
start with.
Yeah,
50.
Yeah.
so we've got, 150.
50, 50, 50, 35.
Pushing like 100,
175.
180. Once you knot it up, 160.
Yeah, so that definitely will do it. I mean, height-wise for this is probably about 120, 130.
Okay, so we got extras.
All right, so I tie rope off to my waist. Can I use perception to see if there's like, maybe a water one down. Some places little ground out more than others.
Give me either a perception or a survival check.
I mean, I can help him rappel down it. I don't know if that's any
I'll go
easier
perception.
than what his plan is right now.
I was thinking about throwing.
Him?
11.
11. Looking down this, it is frightening to say the least. Like you're not seeing a clear pattern in which these crystals are forming, and it hazard-wise, there's no like rut to follow of erosion of water. It's all sporadic and random.
Do you have feather falling or anything
I
like
have
that?
slow fall. It takes 30 points of damage off. to be honest, I don't know how much falling damage is, so I don't know if that's a lot or not.
I think it's based on distance.
Do you want the metagame knowledge?
No.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. With Roscoe, no. He
Roscoe
probably
has
fallen
taken
before.
a lot of time. Okay, give me a history check.
You take a certain amount of dice, or
6.
a dice per story.
6.
I don't remember
for
much
history.
about my past.
You know that falling hurt. You know that you're pretty good at falling compared to other people. You've never fell off a height this high. You fallen off lower ones and thought it was going to be sketchy and survived it, but this one's pretty high up there.
I don't think being thrown. I guess I might miss all of the spiky crystals of doom. Are the crystals like bigger than I am? Like, am I like low?
There's a lot of them that are, yes.
And vertically, how far is the courtyard lower than us?
If at a slant or just straight up vertically?
How much elevation gain or loss is there?
Give me, just give me an investigation check.
But that does mean you can make larger chunks of jumps down as opposed to us. You could make 30-foot.
Jeez, I see that.
So natural 20 plus 4 plus 8, so a 32.
For what?
That was the absolute most I could ever
what do you-
possibly
what do you
roll in
look
an
at,
investigate.
Salvo sits down on one of the crystals and just kind of dangles her feet off the edge and pulls out a sketchbook and just starts drawing and then like doing some math and like looking up and then drawing some more and doing some math and looking up. And with that check, you essentially find 3 points in which a jump from Roscoe would be harmless, and he could affix a rope to said spot, leading to sequential 3 points to help you guys get down safely.
A series of zip lines, basically.
Yeah.
Oh.
So if you follow this path, there's a series of zip lines where you will take no damage.
How do I get to the first spot? I pull out my shield and I kind of hold it in front of me, ready to smash into a crystal.
I say you get a running start, and then like the first one we can help shove you, but I say you get a running start up a crystal and just launch yourself as far as you possibly can.
Is Roscoe himself taking a drink?
Yes.
Give me a con save, please. It is at advantage.
11.
11. You are tipsy. If it was any lower, it would have been drunk, which would have changed things, maybe. But you are tipsy. You gain some temporary hit points. I need to find the right music. Hello?
It's a very dire
No,
situation.
so to be drunk and passing gives me temporary hit points. I was probably already tipsy, so if I pass this one, then I'd be good drunk.
Oh, you were already tipsy. Yeah, you're basically
always
perma-tipsy.
tipsy.
Yeah, so you just moved into drunk territory.
Good drunk. So now I get my
Not the
temporary
bad one
points.
because you passed the save, yep.
So 2 per monk level, and what am I? I'm 6, so I got 12 temporary points. I'm a functional alcoholic.
That's cool.
So Roscoe gets rope, ties himself off, takes a big old swig, sprints off of the edge of this crystal. I will say that with Salvo's planned engineering of...
Yeah, and I give you the map too, so you see what you're doing.
You're like in the air like, huh.
It's stuck to the back of my shield.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome.
That is
Yeah,
sick.
give me a acrobatics advantage.
I love how he keeps calling it a shield. It's scrap metal
It's
with a handle.
just a scrap metal.
I mean, it's not scrap. I mean, it is like earth
Enchanted,
repulsion.
yeah.
Repulsion.
What is a shield? But
16 passes,
Okay, so no,
except like basically you land and you were planning a roll, and as soon as the shield touches part of the shimmering fang, the repulsion creates this high-pitched sound, kind of fractalates, and then pops off, and you slide and almost fall off the edge, cutting your fingers as you catch yourself a little bit, and just dangle over sharp rocks. And then you pull yourself up, and you're back.
Man, this thing is awesome. All right.
Zipline one set up now.
Look at my. Oh yeah, I get my a baton and Python, whatever.
Okay.
And
Tied off. That's a basic survival check. All of the rest of these checks probably are going to be acrobatics to get down here.
6.
6
You got
is
inspiration?
very bad.
I do have inspiration.
And
I don't know
lucky, he
about-
says.
I'll use inspiration.
Okay.
12.
12? Okay.
respect.
On the next jump, you get overconfident because of how cool you think your
Oh,
shield
this
is.
was
That
the-
was survival to get the Python in.
No. That's a simple check. That's what I was saying.
Oh, I
That's
didn't
a
have to
simple
roll for it.
check.
That's what I was rolling for.
Python's in there. You're good. That was your acrobatics check.
And that would have been in. Before I used my inspiration, that would have been an 11.
Do you want to?
Acrobatics of jumping across a horribly dangerous area.
Do you still want to keep the 11?
No.
Okay.
So that would be a 17.
17 is much better. With a 17, you narrowly avoid some sharp spikes that were reaching out from the next, basically blocking off the next area that you were going to land on. It's like literally like in midair, just kind of put your hand up and on a flat part of the crystal, twist your whole body and spin, and then land on the ground on this next crystal.
We're just watching him like
Like a squirrel.
Yeah, just 3-point landing. You have one more roll. Like, again, the Python thing, I'm just going to let roll. You have one more roll to get down.
$26?
Please describe the rest of
25?
this.
Yeah. So I see the last bit, and there's a little bit of a lip right here. So I throw that shield under my feet, and I like surf down this mountain off of the little ramp.
It's shattering behind you as it's happening, like creating like this prismatic dust.
the shattering Fang.
And it's and like the shattering of the specific crystal and like the way that you jump changes the trajectory of the zip line to make it actually more efficient getting down. Landing with your shield in the last part, creating like a powdered bowl of like shattered crystals. Like eventually, like the shield clambers in place as you're down below, and you look up, and like very little teeny tiny dots of like your friends up on this ridge with like this zip line connected.
They're way up there, and all they hear is, "That was fucking gnarly."
And then you guys hear that.
Is that the scream we heard?
That's no. That was different.
Okay.
There was plenty of time for you guys to have explored the area that you're currently in, but after like about 2-3 minutes of exploring after those creatures ran off, like you hear faintly like shattering of something, and then you hear Roscoe screaming that.
It's low key.
That's a good sign.
A friend of yours,
Yeah.
One of our best friends.
the backup. You were saying you were calling her backup.
Oh yes.
Not my position.
Not the backup friend, but yeah.
Dancers. Okay, we repel.
To kind of expedite a little bit of the narrative, you guys make it down this zip line.
Oh, good.
Do you leave it? Do you leave the zip line up on your way down?
No, right?
We need rope. I want to keep my rope.
But also, like, the zipline, it doesn't work uphill.
no.
It could give us away.
Not unless I use my repulsor shield to kick off the rock and launch myself up the zip line.
Oh.
You basically try to kick off the shield and it shatters into powder like Jim beneath you, and you don't get extrovert.
Okay, I put my shield back on my back.
I'm of the opinion we should take the rope.
Yeah, man, I like my rope.
Same.
It's silk.
How did we get it?
My batons are in there real
guys-
early. I didn't
you
want to
guys-
tell you guys before you went, but they're barely in there.
You guys could just simply remove the rope on the way down. Like the last person removes all the rope.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Exactly. Don't
You've
you
never
know?
gone ziplining before,
I
have you?
guess not like that.
You've never
Not like
ziplined into a dragon's
crazy
lair
and
over crystals?
dangerous.
Yeah, I
Wow,
feel like
okay.
they do the whoosh first to check to make sure it doesn't come out. But
Well, this is more of a whatcha to
set
slip
them
it
off.
off the pipe.
yeah, I'm pretty sure they check to make sure it doesn't do that. But
I did not.
you guys made
Yeah.
it.
check.
How about this? I rig up my quick release Python attachment to the uphill
Yeah.
side. And it's
Perfect.
The pines, instead of looping through, it's just like
To
a
be
hook.
honest, I think
Yeah.
it's
And it's
way
like, you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
it's a small mechanism that lifts it up whenever you pull on the separate string.
Yeah,
That's more ridiculous than me just being bad at this.
Yes.
it's a combination.
I mean, you were actually pretty good at that.
There's one thing you know, and it's rope.
I do have holes.
Okay.
Ropes and
Ropes and holes.
so you guys are down in this now starry night sky. Like
no.
during this time, like the suns were already setting. It is getting cold. Wind is making shrill sounds blowing in through the fangs, and the moon is beginning to rise. You also hear very deep and distant a rumbling, a low, dull roar that some of you, actually all of you, remember as the longest night moving throughout the desert.
No, I don't like it. Mm-mm.
You
Purpose.
can hear that from miles off, waving through the air.
Are we staying here for the night? Because that kind of sucks.
Which, and the last point, now y'all are all back together.
Yeah, as I hear and communicate that is the sound of an ally shouting through the night. I assume we start making our way. Stack.
Wait, hold
Whatever your
on.
name.
Who is this old sack of
Trent.
beans that you
Trent.
guys, that Stack's got on his shoulder?
He groans a lot.
Is this your
think-
grandfather?
We think this might be Wygroff. Thea.
Thea approaches in this manner. And
Weirdly
kind
enough, as Thalner walks up to Thea, he kind of like almost like desperately grabs at her.
Mhm.
Like, Thea! Like, relieved to see her.
You're alive.
But motions to this old man.
you're alive and well and
Is this...
oh
Holy shit.
Is this who I think it is?
Is he
my
dead?
god.
He's fine.
Are you sure?
No,
He's
no,
he
no,
is not,
and-
definitely not fine.
The two of them move over, like
He's got
Stack
like
kind of
12
puts
hit
him on the
points.
ground.
He's fine.
I get out a sausage, I start like slicing beans.
Yeah, I
into
give him
his
some
mouth.
water.
You pour some water in his mouth. His lips are completely like cracked and somewhat bleeding.
Oh,
it's
I just dip my
like,
finger in a health potion and I'm just like,
I slip him some liquor.
You slap him like
Yeah.
Thea slaps the fucking bottle out of your hand.
I catch it.
You catch it. That's fine. What is wrong with you?
It's trying to perk him up. It makes me feel better. I just got... What's the non-meta for extra hit points?
He's literally saying those words out loud, and all of you are like,
What does that
what?
mean?
Roscoe,
I'm
you look up and like the stars are actually like moving in spirals to you. Like,
This is pretty soon after I've drank the hallucinogenic stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're still tripping.
Yeah. I don't know, guys. I just thought me from like third person and there was dice. It fucking
Keep
freaked me out.
him away from my grandfather, please.
So
He's
this
got
is
food.
Wygroff.
This is him, yes. But he seems, and the whole time, even like with the medication and the health potion, the water and the food and everything, he just kind of seems distant. And when he looks at you, it's not like you're really there. And every once in a while, he just whispers, "The vault. We have to find it."
can't you like get in there?
Excuse me, sir. Did you talk about a vault?
Vault. Yes,
Yeah.
the vault.
Yeah.
The
And
vault.
I point back to where they're coming. I'm like, yeah.
We
or-
have to find it.
Oh, so you've been here how long? And
have to
you have
find
no
it.
idea where it's at.
Trying to have a
The
conversation.
vault.
with him.
You.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, while this interaction is happening, I'm gonna cast Detect Thoughts on Wygroff.
Okay. Going fully in there.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm not worried about whether or not he knows.
What's your spell save DC?
Better than a dead old
You
man.
need me to hold him for you?
Oh,
That was just
I don't know how
fine.
this works.
I mean, yeah, get ready to heal, I guess. I don't know.
yeah.
He seems fragile.
I hold his eyes open while you like peer into the.
16 wisdom save.
Surface thoughts. You peer into his mind and you see like this grand vault
Okay.
kind of surrounded by shimmering light, and then it wades away,
Does
and then
this-
reappears and then wades away, and you just see an image of Wygroff like looking and searching and looking and searching, and you try to dig deeper into his thoughts and he resists you.
Does this vault look familiar in any way?
It give me a history check.
$15?
With a 15, it kind of looks like the one that you had seen down underneath the city. But you're not certain because as the vision manifests and then dissipates and then shows again, you're seeing this loop that Wygroff is in. But he resisted your further peering. During this time, Stack kind of looks around and looks back down on the man that he had gently rested on the ground, and he looks over to Trent and he goes, apparently we were looking for this man. I don't know if you knew that.
I don't. All I know is I get his ring now. I held up my end of the bargain.
Yeah, whatever.
Slip it out his finger.
Hey, whoa, why? What do you mean you get his... That's our family signet.
The kobold promised me that I could have the ring.
Downer!
I needed someone to carry him. It wasn't going to be me.
Stack carried him half the way. I'm
Well,
sure.
that is a good point.
His fingers are
You-
too big for the ring.
You're-
though.
Didn't carry him the entire
I carried
way.
him, but
You're
only
trying to
because...
fine print me on some sort of contract that we didn't write up.
This
We
is
didn't
true. There's no
share.
contract.
I also would
I
like
take
to
the ring
posit...
from Trenton.
As Fowler kind of plucks it from your hands like a stack pipe. So he says, I also would like to posit that though we were worried because he was a crinkle, he would be weird.
Whoa!
Right, I'm Trenton, by the way. You must be and I've put
What
together
did you just say, Stack?
Apparently he's a
He's,
crinkle. But he says he's a hexer, which is not a crinkle.
Right,
Hey, before you interrupt me, I want to say, he helped us.
we poked around in the dungeon and I did keep them from getting discovered. But,
We were going to get attacked, and then he turned me into a wispy, smoky thing, and it was fun.
So you're not here because you're pissed off because you lost the race.
This is true.
That's more of my groups. I like to adventure. I like to see things and go places.
Hold me back.
I wasn't necessarily concerned of the race, although they did talk about it a lot.
So you weren't part of the race, but you were with the hexers, crinkles?
I provide backup. I'm a searcher, a hunter. I'm also a healer.
Have you ever been inside the Kringles compound?
I have.
Have you seen any, like, weird chests?
You're gonna have to be more descriptive than that.
No. I got this doll and this weird key from him, and I'm sure at least one of these is important.
Do I recognize?
Roll a history check.
Okay.
All the key.
One of them is surely.
8. And then history is.
That's that main kid,
Plus
like
zero.
child's doll, man.
So
You
it's
might do
8.
anything to get that
8?
kid to stop crying.
I'm not even telling you what the key does.
Something about the key seems familiar to you. Like, you might have seen it somewhere before, but also keys are keys. So you could have just been thinking of a different key that's not right.
My eyes kind of, stop on the key for a moment, but No, I don't think I was high enough in their ranking to really have been provided with information on trinkets.
Interesting.
Is he always like this?
Yeah.
Sometimes he's drunker.
Yeah. That and
I can smell it from here.
he'll warm it up to you.
And I'm probably 4 feet above you.
For now.
That's actually
If I want, you'll be a foot below me.
yeah. See, actually, that's
actually
part of
6
the
feet.
problem. The height is typically
A sore spot.
He doesn't like that I'm taller than
Your
him.
knees are gonna be a sore spot, man.
Short stack. How funny.
I climb on Stack's shoulders and I'm like,
yeah, like ready to chicken fight. Like
I remember this from the fight with Ixcar, except it was Thalner then.
You could throw on a robe and actually get into
you
a
ever been
brothel.
punched
Yeah, I
in the
look like
throat
an
and the
adult
nuts
now.
at the same time?
What are nuts?
Right in front of his spine.
okay, I don't think the gem stalkers are going to be gone for that long, especially if we're making a huge commotion in the middle of this city. I know it's nighttime and we probably shouldn't
Have we encountered gem
venture
stalkers
into the
before?
desert right now,
Yeah,
but
they kicked her ass.
Yeah,
let's
two of
get
us
out of
everyone.
here.
Oh yeah.
And killed our friend.
Right, we heard your halfling friend inside the compound. So
Yes.
they probably heard that.
So
Someone-
we're gonna go straight to the vault as fast as we can. Good
Where?
plan.
I
All
don't
right,
even know where the vault is.
Where, Roscoe?
Yes.
we got that.
Yes.
You have to
It's in
find
there.
it.
Where?
Deep.
What?
Secret
Yep.
door.
Okay.
Candlestick. I want to
Do
pull
you
all the
understand
candlesticks.
It's a
Do any of
process.
you understand?
Can I do an investigate based on context on where a vault might be?
None of us know Scooby Doo.
This is more of like an inference, but yeah, go ahead.
I mean,
Proficient in Scooby-Doo.
I actually am proficient in Scooby Doo.
Good.
I have a bonus on Scooby Doo rolls.
Looking for Scooby Doo shit. You've never seen the show.
I am going to inspire myself.
Okay.
Look at you guys with your inspiration.
We don't even know what's in there. And do we want to go back in there? I don't even know how y'all made it out.
19.
Vault, man.
There was lots of gold. If that entices anyone.
Yeah, outside of the vault. We don't even need to go into the vault.
Hear me out.
If that's what you're after.
Out of curiosity, I looked into his mind. At
And I don't
the
know if you
words.
knew this. Sorry to interrupt. Leon's riding on the back of the fucking dragon.
Yeah, it's so
right now.
awesome.
Can we control what Leon does? No.
Why would you? I mean,
That's
I'm just.
gonna
There's
have to
bigger
resolve.
problems here than a mystery vault with mystery clues.
That's gonna have to resolve itself. I'm sorry, JJ, but
We got what we were
Leon's on his
looking
own.
for. Who cares? He's crazy. That's a medical diagnosis, by the way.
Yes, crazy
We have to
for
find
sure.
it.
I did, however, look into his mind to understand the vault that he was describing.
I understand the last time we saw a vault. one
It
of us
looked
died.
very similar
One of us died.
to the one we've seen before.
yo, white pants. What's in the vault?
The vault.
But like, okay, say we get there. What am I grabbing? You're
Give
not
me
gonna
a-
run in
That was a 19 for
Yeah,
where's
yeah,
the vault.
yeah. Give me a persuasion check with the 19. You more or less throughout this argument like are kind of like hanging back and like putting together all the variables. And as the two of them begin arguing about like it kind of looked like this other one, but like why do we need to find it? Also, you remember the last time we went to that vault, you're starting to have like a little bit of a brain blast, and you would assume that this one, not dissimilar to the one buried deep within the mountain underneath Drakehaven, that this one might just be buried deep underneath this structure. That's what you put together.
So
What'd you get on your
argue against
persuasion?
Persuasion for deception, because I probably said something like, "Tell me what to grab so I can get it for you," and that's a lie.
Sure.
All right, while we're all
12.
sitting here, I'm going to wispy smoke again. Sorry, I'm going to make sure pass without traces circling around this wall.
Yeah, when you had seen them roll up, it was just like figures and shadow, and then it kind of dropped for a little bit, but now you guys are all consumed with it.
Okay.
Smoke.
You're like a
Smoke-
shadowy,
well,
smoky
never
boy.
mind.
We have the whole case. Okay.
I don't know this thing's getting me.
It's not.
It's
12 for deception.
12 for deception. We have to find it. The vault.
Mate, you got like a picture?
It's here.
Young lady, do you have any idea what vault he's talking about?
This crazy. Honestly, I don't even care. But yes, I have somewhat of an idea. First of all, before I even say anything, I think we should, like the owner is saying, get the hell out of here. This is not a good space to be. Not only that, let's get him the hell out of here. Away from this crazy place because I've
quick.
never seen him with this broken of a mind.
So it's nighttime. That shadow beast is out there, and the ship is on top of a near vertical cliff covered in dangerous spiky things, and we removed the rope. So I think honestly the safest thing to do is go into the structure.
Unfortunately, for me, and for my grandfather, and whoever else has a level head on their shoulders, supposedly, what my grandfather said is that there were 3 vaults scattered throughout the world, buried underneath the greatest cities in existence, before the change of mankind, or whatever it is he describes it to be. If he's saying that he came here, and she looks around, and this looks like a war zone, vault's probably underneath this place. But I'm out. I need to get him, and we need to go.
Well, I mean, I don't even know who you are, so you can go.
I
We go.
think that's a good idea.
Nothing's holding you here. But
Thea.
you said you've been to one of these vaults.
Yeah, Thea, I think you should take Wygroff and get out of here.
Certainly.
Get him somewhere safe. Maybe understand why he needs to get to the vault, because that's really the big question here. And I think you're the most capable of getting him to safety.
How are they gonna get out of here?
That's Thea's problem. Yes, we
Hey,
have
I
been
like
to
that
one
answer.
of these vaults before.
What was inside?
Our friend got turned into a gem.
A giant back black hole.
Whatever a black hole is, it was basically that.
Alright.
Oh, you know, they got them in books and stuff.
So,
Yeah.
You've never read a book before?
I didn't think books talked about black
The
holes yet.
cosmos?
Shit, man, I got my rope back. I love holes.
Not this guy. It was basically a
Whirlpool of
pulling
nothingness.
void. That's
so we don't want that.
no.
So,
Could have taken you somewhere cool.
That was just one vault. We don't know that like all vaults. I mean, I've broken into lots of vaults and they just had rad stuff.
alright.
It looked the same though.
Did you see it in your vision?
I saw it in Wygroff's head.
But the sucking vortex of space doom.
No.
All right, so
No,
that sounds like that's a
Wygroff
go
didn't
for
get it
me.
open.
But that means that he made it to there, and then whatever he made it to there, whatever it was, freaking snapped his mind.
This is true. And
So there's
also
something
then
protecting it.
after getting there ended up in a cell.
Yeah,
So that's 2 reasons not to go.
that's
We know the vault is here. That's a win, right?
No, because we know also that the Dragon Guardian is not here. So like that's kind of a rare chance.
There is opportunity. Not for the vault though.
Well, not opportunity for the vault.
Treasure. I'm team treasure.
I like treasure. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, Vault's got the best of
Nope.
the treasure.
I thought the vault had the sucky space vortex thing.
Not unconfirmed.
Right.
Not unconfirmed means
Right.
confirmed. Yeah, so
Half baked this one.
The absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence.
He's got a point.
Your logic is truly dizzying.
Sometimes he has to get drunker for him to make more sense.
It's not pretty, but it's sound.
He's the smartest one here.
Alright, so Team Treasure and Team Vault are one and the same. So we've got 3 votes for Vault.
I'm team, get the fuck out of here. What the hell? You guys are so
Once
greedy.
again, not a way to get out of here without getting consumed by the.
Well, there's a
night
way to
dragon.
not get found by prying eyes as well. We can just hide somewhere.
Hide in the vault. Sounds like the safest place.
Okay.
I do think investigating, looking for a place to hide is a viable option.
Probably find treasure along the way.
And find some treasure along the way.
I don't think looking specifically and exclusively for the vault and trying to get into it is the safest option. But you are your own creature to do it.
Scary vault thing.
Let's go in.
Stealing from
and
a dragon's
look for
hoard.
random treasure and places to hide.
Pissing off a giant blue dragon.
Yes.
Oh, we're already.
It's less scary than walking directly into the jaws of a giant night dragon.
They're one and the same.
Circling back
Are
to
they?
Thea. What do they do?
I'm not saying go out into the darkness. I'm just
I
saying,
don't
like,
even know who.
there's a nice shiny rock right there. We could just camp out underneath there.
Oh.
Wait till the morning.
But then what
get
are we
the
gonna
fuck
do
out.
while we wait?
Sleep. I don't fucking know.
I'm pretty well
I'm not
rested.
even tired, man.
Why are my friends fighting?
Because they're dumb.
Oh,
Because they would rather line their pockets.
All right, why don't
We're
we do
discussing
an
stuff. Friends
outside
don't
watch
fight.
crew?
But we do have heated discussions on occasion.
Honestly,
Oh, no, we're fighting. Don't let her words change.
a person or two were to stay in visible range of the outside and can let us know if the blue dragon was coming back, that would be really helpful.
Then you know that you're going to.
Yeah. Oh, was that? That sounds good to me.
you know, the dragon lady said something really strange to me.
What was that?
She said that for some reason things were brought to her today, talking about Thalner and myself and Leon. And you said that Leon's riding on her? I don't like that. That's not fun. Leon said that he wanted to kill a big blue dragon, but now he rides one?
It is pretty fun, but I see what you're getting at.
Also,
He did lead her away from us, it seemed.
that is helpful.
He seemed obedient, which is not something I've seen on Leon before. He laid his sword down in front of her and pledged allegiance. In my opinion, Leon
to the
may
blue
not be on
dragon?
our side.
No, but that is what happened, but I think that it's more complex than that, maybe. He would never do that.
Definitely.
I watched him do that.
I agree with
We both
Stat.
did, but he would never.
But we watched him take the dragon away from us.
Could
For
be
all we
playing-
know, the vault belongs to the dragon too. So
Oh, it
either way,
does.
yeah,
It
we're
does.
fucked.
So does the treasure. So if we're going to take one, might as well take them all.
Last time we saw a vault, one of our best friends, well, he was turned into something not dissimilar to all of these shiny things around here.
That's why we should let Wygroff open it.
I think he already tried that.
I think we should avoid the vault.
Well, we at least need to get inside.
A place to hide, yes, but like I said, I think trying to seek out and open the vaults is not the greatest idea or priority. Let's put it that way.
We don't even know what happened the first time. Why would we
Take
do it again?
priority.
I'd like to know where the vault is. I don't want to open it.
Maybe yes, but we don't open it.
If I remember correctly, the vault has another set of the drugs.
Does it?
I told Trent they were not drugs, Roscoe.
He's been very adamant about them not being drugs.
We don't like to share them, so that's a common thing we say. They're not drugs.
Sorry, I was lying because of my friend told me to.
Alright.
Bring your own.
Don't try to understand.
Who would admit that they're carrying
It's
drugs?
complicated and
Think about
Come
it.
on, you and Nart.
sensitive.
We've been asking about the not drugs a lot.
Only
You-
because they
you
made
seem
such a
awfully
big point
interested.
that they are not drugs.
Yeah,
They're not drugs.
they're not drugs. I think there might be more not drugs in the vault. And that's why Wygroff came here in the first place.
Telling you what something isn't doesn't really narrow down what it is.
Exactly.
In-
You've caught
intentional.
on real quick there.
I'm not
thought you were
answering any
dumb.
more questions without my lawyer present. So if
Sir.
we're done here.
It's a sensitive matter, and really, it's not something you want to get mixed up in, especially if your goal is just to
Just here for the treasure.
treasure. Yeah, don't worry
I'm
about
still
it.
Team Treasure.
Don't worry about what
Gold,
Stack has.
gold, man. Wait, we're gonna get some treasure.
Alright. I'm down to go inside.
Yeah, and
I
think
pull up my
he's
shirt. I've
warming
got
up
like
to you.
treasure like tattooed on my midsection.
Alright. like this guy.
At this time, Thea has essentially made like a combination of a like rope harness with a tensor's floating disc, Wygraf like gently resting on the top of it, and like staring at you guys for a while.
Yeah.
A couple of you have noticed it, staring at you guys for a while, and then turns and just begins walking up one of the ravines.
We've all been arguing this whole time. So.
This is Thea.
Yeah.
Once I see out of the corner of my eye her like starting to move, I chase after her quickly to like. Good luck. Please get him to safety and get him some help. Better than what I could do in a pinch.
Well, I'd always certainly have appreciated your help and your efforts, though surprising as they may be. I think you are an idiot for staying here. But
Yeah, well.
Oh, you gotta throw all
The
about it
idiot
or
that
what?
followed the idiot that came out here in the first place. So
you're not wrong. So let me take care of him, and
we'll talk soon.
she
You know
like
where to find the ship. Oh, wow. I
She
guess
does.
I'm
She
yelling.
was with
I'm
you
yelling.
guys.
Okay, yeah.
yeah, but you yelled at. She says, "Yes, the stupid bell." Just kind of echoes off the cabin. Bell, bell, bell.
Yeah, because you guys have left with
So,
those.
as Stowner's walking back to the group, I am just losing it laughing as I hold up the keys to the ship.
So first of all, no, you don't have the keys to the
You're
ship
not even
because
gonna be able to start it.
because he took the ship below
Yeah,
surface.
he did die.
He took it. But before you say all that, she responds to you. She says, "You're right. I'm sorry. Prickly as I can be. Hey, seriously, fucking survive. Okay?
I have to because I need to know what the hell Wygraf was doing out here.
I'll do what I can. I need to get him back home. But once I start getting that taken care of, I'll come.
You better not steal our ship.
Who said that?
Ross,
That.
he's giving me a headache.
Who is? Did anyone hear that?
A large rock goes sailing past her head.
Roll a hit.
No, I'm rolling not to hit.
Okay. Then a large rock goes sailing past her head. The 23 hit your AC. A slightly smaller rock does 2 points of damage to you on the way back. And she begins walking away. And you go to throw another rock and Stack just like, no, not this time. Not this time. It's not okay. We're done. And as she's walking away, turns around and said, "If you need me and you can, holler. I'm gonna get him home. But
Be
again,
quiet when you get home.
certainly."
No one in that city needs to know he's there.
So-
You don't know who to trust and who not to trust.
Wait, she's gonna travel at night? Is she
I have no idea where to take him. I don't know where to put him. My thought is we'll hit up one of the outlying cities that parts of our family were at first. But as far as keeping him completely silent, we're going. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll figure it out.
The only person I can think to trust is Paul.
Well,
The council? Wait, no. The Abjurai woman.
but the councilwoman might be the better bet.
Paul is preparing for something Wygraf may have seen.
Paula too.
Paula 2.0. She knows more than she's telling, and clearly so does Wygraf. If she's able to even just open his mind and understand, that's a win.
Yeah, no. I think you're right. I certainly will do what I can to get her to Paula, though. I've never met her myself. But listen. Something about all of this makes me uncomfortable. Something... The fact that he's here, as old as he is, all of this chaos, the fact that all of you are still going to go back, like... She kind of throws her hands up in the air, like letting go of the harness for a second, and then picks it back up, and she says, "I think I'll think on it, But after I get these answers from Paula, this is too much.
He kind of puts his hand on her elbow and says, "You're going to protect the answers you might hold. We're staying to find the answers that might be hidden. We're both headed the same direction. And it's possible that we'll just wait out the night here and join you back towards Drakehaven in the morning. If not, go without us."
Well, unfortunately, I'm sorry, nephew, but I'm going to leave immediately.
We won't be waiting until it's safe to travel?
They had built like this crazy subterranean under the sand like machine. Like first it was sailing over dunes and stuff, and then like it could bury underground. Like
It just tunnels through the sand.
Night Dragon who? Yeah. It just
And you
tunnels
know
straight
how
through
to
the
drive
sand.
that?
And nobody else came up with this idea in this desert. But these fools.
I've never
did.
been to this desert. I'm literally just on the
Yeah.
coattails of whatever's been happening.
Okay.
This is all
Understandable.
chaos to me.
Understandable.
Salvo sneezes in the distance.
So
These fools. Achoo!
everyone else is okay with her taking our boat and stranding us here. And I'm the only one that's upset by being left here without a vehicle.
We chose to stay.
What was
Also,
the hex?
she's gonna need to roll a history for.
So, real quick, this is a fair point. Would you?
Vomiting.
I just said, what was the Hexer's exit plan? Because I would have come in having a way out
That
as
is a good
well.
point.
So, you're kind of thinking this and listening to all of this. Like, this has generally been like a strange argument of like people who've been working together, like having split up, coming back together.
Yeah.
This is familiar territory for you. And as you're kind of just hanging back, like a little bit gathering information, a little bit trying to decide where to lend your aid next, you feel like a strange like vibration in your breast pocket.
It's my sending stuff.
And you go and you pull it out, and there's
Okay.
this small stone with like a carved shape of an ear on it. And you hear, Trent, are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Trent, we're being hunted.
Right?
They killed Raza.
And I just stopped, like almost dropping the stone.
They killed Raza, that long big dragon, that gemstone guy that we saw, and then now they killed him.
Gemstone guy and a blue dragon.
The one we were told about by that group. They killed him.
I'm like getting chills. Like all of this is starting to like come together. You guys, some sort of confrontation, I guess, between your leader, starting to kind of put it all together. You guys know this dragon, and he's killed our leader.
Oh man, we ain't friends. We don't know no dragon.
You said
We might not. We not. I mean,
That
we
would
might
be
know the
weird.
guy.
this
That's,
rock dude seems to really be fond of him.
the dude that's riding the dragon,
Right.
not the dragon itself, mate.
I just received word that Raza, the leader of my captain, is dead. And he was killed by a blue dragon and some, as she says it, gemstone guy. Sound familiar?
Isn't
Actually,
just
no,
talking about?
that doesn't ring a bell.
I don't trust this guy. Sound familiar?
I said that's the guy we were just talking. That was the problem that I was talking about.
Right.
The problem that we are also struggling with.
I don't know why we argue. We say the same thing half the time. It's just more listening. I think,
So
is what our
she's
group needs,
leaving to steal our
More
boat
understanding.
and strand us. She's gonna need to do a history for my
Third-
dirty song.
She's already left.
So she's gonna have to remember my dirty song for the bell toll. First off.
All right.
And she's gonna have to remember how to drive this shit because that guy's never driven it.
Okay. You know she's a bard, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But she really doesn't like me, so she might have like plugged her ears when I was singing.
Okay. Well, she got a natural 18 on the dice.
She was too busy throwing up to plug her
Well, my
ears.
song was a 26. It was epic.
And as far as driving, you may or may not find out.
Explosions
we
came
wouldn't
into the desert.
You're dead.
What do you
So-
mean, this gemstone person?
How does ascending stone? Am I able to just keep having back and forth conversation?
In this
I feel like that's a little
circumstance,
strong.
in this like plot-heavy circumstance, yes. For future notice, it works as like a regular sending and has charges.
All right.
So we're gonna assume that like whatever charges we put on it is gonna be post this current conversation because this is like your character introduction and all that.
Sure.
Yeah.
And who is it that I'm talking to?
Alana, she's the spouse of Raza.
Right. So Alana's probably completely distraught. So Alana, I'm going to need more information. I've found the scale scoop. I've found the compound. I've broken in, and now you're telling me that our leader's dead.
There's like a little bit of radio silence on the other end for a little while.
Alana, come in. Can you hear me?
And it lasts like a little bit longer, and you guys have like a few more conversations that eventually you hear coming back. Stay with me. If you're still in the same area, loot what you can. But we can meet in the rendezvous back in the Nell. If you're not here in a week, we're gonna move on.
Roger that, first Captain.
You don't hear any response.
I'm gonna need a moment to process this. But, I suppose I'm still Team Treasure.
That's rough, bud.
So this gemstone guy,
Right.
he's having seen it firsthand. He's unwell. That's the best way I can put it.
And that's why I'm not in a fit of rage. Is you've already, before I even mentioned or any of this, were saying that he was acting strange. Perhaps this blue dragon has something to do with it. But
This dragon has to be his worst enemy.
He's been vying to kill his dragon. For the
Is this
last-
dragon his big blue?
Yes.
His
I
big blue,
believe so.
white whale, whatever you want to call it, yeah.
I believe it is. And he bent the knee during the first conversation.
He's got
With
this
tears in his
sword,
eyes.
man.
He didn't say must kill all dragons or kill the dragon or
It
I'm
was
here to
not
kill
Leon.
dragons. That is very not Leon.
He has been acting weird ever since he got
His
this
MO
sword,
is
yeah.
kill dragons.
Yeah, that sword in the dragon's lair.
then perhaps my ire for now can be focused elsewhere. But I want answers.
Yeah.
Ask away, I don't know. What do you...
From us or
From the gemstone guy who
Oh.
apparently thinks he can own horses.
well. Yeah.
I think him and that horse had kind of a thing going. Like,
I had
it's like saying, like, you know,
Brief.
you're a girl and they say it's my man. Like, there's not really ownership, but you know.
It's like it was like a soul
Well
bond.
said, Roscoe.
You know,
That's a
it's
good way
like
to put it.
well, it does make me feel a bit better. I've had
a strong,
a soul bond with a few animals in my time.
yeah, powerful connection.
Just met you there, man. Save that for when I'm actually drunk.
Your mind works in very not
Mysterious.
mysterious, but maybe dirty ways.
Convoluted.
All right,
Definitely contaminated.
I like that.
Yeah.
You feel like you've been
filthy.
through a latrine lately yourself.
I
You
can
can
explain
smell
that.
it too.
Yeah,
It's
pretty,
pretty
bad.
bad.
I can explain that. I was swimming.
You got scared. It's alright. It happens.
We've been there.
At this time, as you guys have been conversing, Thalner, like you feel like a nerve being stretched, a sharp pinprick of pain in the end of your tail.
I look at it. What?
Kind of curl your tail around. Which, by the way, did you re-click your watch, or you've been sitting here in Moonstone scale for a while?
Yeah, I would have.
Yeah.
Basically, as soon as we had been taken away from Limerith.
Okay.
Like, that was a show.
Gotcha. So your red scaled tail that kind of curls back up to your body, and you pull it and you hold it, and right where something had been resting, the scales are starting to turn green.
Yo.
And that's where we're going to
really do
end
that.
our session.
Yo, that is not good.
No, cut it off. You can grow your tails, right?
I don't think that's how it works.
Listen, I knew you were a different color, but I don't think it was that color.
That is where we're going to end our session
Oof.
today. I hope you all had fun watching Scales of Fate.
Silent!
That was a fun session. Josh, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
You'll be here next couple of sessions.
Just for a few.
Yeah, hanging out. Got a crinkle, got a hexer,
Is that what this is?
got a tail turning green.
It's fine. It's fine.
that.
Everything's fine.
Everything is totally fine in this layer of
Hell?
Yeah. Crinkles! We're still all standing outside arguing about whether or not to go in. That
Hey, you know what?
concerns me.
I'm certain you guys will come up with a plan next time on Scales
Scales
of
of
Fate. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys had fun, and we'll see you next Monday.
I had fun.
Yeah.
Oh wait, not next Monday,
Not next Monday?
because that's the last Monday.
It's still the next
The next is
Their next
Monday.
Monday.
Their next is consumed
Mondays.
content Monday.
See you next
yeah.
time.
See you next time.
The next time we go live.
Bye, guys.